Hello guys, in this video we'll be taking a look at identifiers, and this is something that is present in almost any programming language. So what I'll do is I'll just create a new project, and the name of the project will be chapter 2, that is the basics of any programming language. So this is not regarding Python, but this will be available in all the programming languages. So what I'll do is I'll just click on finish, and over here we'll just create a new file. So I'll just right click and add a new file called identifiers, and the name of the file will be identifiers.py. So let me just enter the name over here, and the name, as I told you, is identifiers or variables. So variables and identifiers are kind of same, but I prefer calling it identifiers because it's quite easy to understand for people who are new into programming languages. So the first line will be for Linux users to tell the system where Python is installed. So usually Python is installed in user directory or USR directory. So that's it, and we'll just call it we'll just add in a small statement to see if it runs. So if I just click on run, you can see the output in the output window, so in the output console. So in case you have any problem, you can just go to run configuration. There is one problem over here, that is it is actually selecting the file from chapter 1, so we have to change the configuration, and I'll just select the chapter 2 and click on apply. So you can actually give a name to the configuration. Let's give it chapter 2 and click on apply, click on run, and over here you have to select the main file and click on run. So that's how you can run it. And now let's move on to identifiers. So what are identifiers? So if you ask me a question, what are identifiers, I will just tell you identifiers are things that let us identify a value. So for example, we have x equal to y, and semicolons are not required in Python, but you can use semicolon if you come from C, C sharp and stuff. So I won't recommend you to use semicolons, but you can use it. It doesn't actually matter. So now if I print x and y, technically it should print the letter x, but it is printing the value inside the letter, that is 1 and 2. So if you take a look over here, the identifier, the name of the identifier is x and y, and identifier is identifying a data, that is it holds a data, it has a data inside it. So what are identifiers? I'll just comment out this thing. What are identifiers? Identifiers are basically variables. Actually, they are in real life, they are known as variables, but they are just like your name. For example, if someone calls you with your name, for example, if someone calls me Priyank, so the term Priyank is the identifier which identifies me as a human body. And over here, one thing you should note, that they are actually systematic, and you should use capital letters for capital and small lowercase letters for lowercase identifiers. So you cannot interchange them. You should use a big X for big X and a small x for small x. So capital and small is something that in Python actually they consider it different. And one more thing is that you should not use reserved keywords. So it can be a small letter or it can be a word. As you can see over here, I am declaring two things, and the next thing is and we get a syntax error. Why do we get this error? This error is because and is a reserved keywords. Don't worry, I'll be talking about reserved keywords in my next video. For now, just make sure you cannot use anything that is defined, that is already defined by Python, or that is already a function or a method. So don't worry right now, just make sure it is not colored in Eclipse. So that's all you have to consider for now. You have to learn that whatever identifier you use, it should not be colored. So I guess that's all. And if we talk about what all things you can use as an identifier or as a variable, you can use all of these characters, the numbers and stuff, but I would avoid numbers. You can actually use lowercase and uppercase. So that's all for this video.